Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto used Sage of 6 Paths in chunin exams. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by TheNinthOblivion and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chidori. It was a perfect strike. And with that strike, Naruto Uzumaki fell and watched as the world went black. No, I can't die. Not yet, I have to become Hokage and I have to save Sasuke. Naruto, wake up. Naruto suddenly opened his eyes to see the face of an elderly man he didn't know. He looked around and saw nothing but white. He then looked back at the man. Who are you? Asks Naruto. I am the Sage of 6 Paths, Rikido Sennin, Naruto. He responded. Sage of 6 Paths. Why do I feel like I've heard that somewhere before? Naruto thought. The sage smiled and as if he knew what Naruto was thinking, said, perhaps, you know me better as the original god of shinobi and the creator of all ninjutsu. Naruto's eyes widened. It was unbelievable. The Sage of 6 Paths was in front of him, alive, and talking to him as if this was normal. Why are you here, Rikido-sama? Naruto asked, and am I really dead? Yes, you are dead. That Sasuke Uchiha fellow really did a number on you. As to why I'm here, I want to offer you a second chance, Naruto. A second chance? Naruto said, you mean like, to be able to come back to life? Correct. Responded the sage. But why? I'm just the dead last of my entire class and I have a demon in my stomach. Said Naruto, looking downcast. If I recall correctly, you're to become the next homage, right? Isn't that what you've told everyone, Naruto? Asked the sage. Yes, sage, Naruto answered, but I still have a demon in my stomach. Demon? Ah yes, you mean the Kyuubi. Said Rikido Sennin. How do you began, Naruto? I went through all your memories, Naruto. So yes, I know about my eldest son being in you. It's nice to see he is in good hands. Said the sage, smirking, waiting for the young blonde's reaction. 3, 2, 1. What? There it is. The Kyuubi is your son. What do you mean, Rikido-sama, how can it be your son? Asked Naruto, shocked at this news. You see, I was the world's first ever Jinchuriki. The Jinchuriki of the Juubi. I split the Juubi into 9 different beings. You know them as the 9-tailed beasts, Bijuus. The Ichibi, Shukaku, the Nibi, Mitabi, the Sanbi, Isobu, the Yonbi, Sengoku, the Gobi, Kakuo, the Rikubi, Seiken, the Nanabi, Chimei, the Hachibi, Jayuki, and lastly, the Kyuubi, Kurama. Explained Rikido Sennin. So not just the Kyuubi, but all 9 Biju are your children. Whoa, that's so cool. Exclaimed Naruto. It really is, isn't it? Now Naruto, down to business. Hear me out, young Uzumaki. Once you awaken, you will be granted my Rinnegan, the ultimate Taijutsu. This will give you access to all of my amazing powers, over time of course. And with training, you will be able to use them correctly. I will stay with you, in the spirit form, you see now, with Kurama, guiding you and becoming your new sensei. Now, I shall explain the Rinnegan, as it is the key to everything. The 6 paths of the Rinnegan are the following. Asura path, animal path, Deva path, Naraka path, human path, and Preta path. When you awaken, I'll explain them more in depth. Also, as you know, I am the father of first Uchiha and, technically, the Rinnegan is the father of the Sharingan. While I've been dead, I've trained and perfected my Rinnegan. You see, the Sharingan is a mutation of the Rinnegan. It has the potential to become the Sharingan, but that's just a theory. Now, this means the abilities of the Sharingan are hidden away in the Rinnegan. It took me time, but I was able to unlock them. Now, the Sharingan has a transformation, known as the Mangekyo Sharingan. This Sharingan increases the originally abilities of the base Sharingan and grants the wielder unique abilities. In your lifetime, I know you will meet Sasuke again. He most likely will have unlocked his Mangekyo by then. When he uses a unique ability, watch him closely. Not only can you copy jutsu like the Sharingan, but the Rinnegan can copy special Sharingan abilities and you can use them for yourself. After your training is over, I suggest you go back to Konoha and seek out your sensei, Kakashi, and ask him to use his specialty with his Mangekyo Sharingan. Alright, with that explained, let's start your training with the perfect Rinnegan. Are you ready, Naruto Uzumaki? Said the Sage of 6 Paths. Chapter 2. Of course, Dadabeo. But could we get some ramen before we start training and stuff? Said Naruto. The sage face vaulted at that, but chuckled and nodded, sure Naruto, but be warned, we won't be going back to Konoha for about 3 years, okay? It will take time for you to master the power of Rinnegan and increasing your other abilities as well. Naruto, whose mind was still on ramen, only responded, how am I supposed to get ramen if I can't go back to Konoha? You'll see. It's a technique of mine. You will learn it one day, but enough talk. Time to get you back to the land of the living. Responded Rikido Sennin. He then lifted his arms and the Naruto saw a bright flash and quickly passed out. Ugh, Naruto groaned. He looked around to see he was in the middle of a forest road. I revived you and then teleported you away from the area you died in so that no one could know about your revival. The sage said through the new telepathic link he and Naruto now had. Okay, I guess. Naruto said, but where I am supposed to stay for 3 years. I don't see anything except trees. During my time, I had a cabin in this area. Using my power, I made sure it would not be able to be accessed by anyone other than me. Of course, since you have the Rinnegan, my cabin won't be able to tell us apart, so you can stay there. Said the sage. That's great and all, Rikido-sensei, but I believe you owe me something. Naruto said. Owe you? Asked the sage. Ah yes, here you go. Put out your hands. Naruto quickly obeyed his sensei. Suddenly, a red and blue flame erupted from his hand. They mixed, and soon a bowl of ramen was there in his hands. I have ramen, Dadabeo. This is awesome. Hey, where are my emergency chopsticks? Naruto said to himself. Rikido-sennin smiled at the scene. That will keep him busy for the meantime. Now, let's catch up, son. Two eyes opened and soon stared at the elderly man in shock. Father H, how are you here? The great Kyuubi stuttered. Surprised, Kurama. It is rather extraordinary, isn't it? How have you and your siblings been? Asked Rikido-sennin. I'm fine, too-san. As for the others, I'm rather unsure. Other than Shukaku, I don't know about the welfare or even the whereabouts of the others. Kurama responded. Ah yes, young Naruto's battle with Shukaku, that ended rather quickly, if you ask me. Now, Kurama, it is partially thanks to you I'm here, so for that I thank you my son. Now I can help Naruto become stronger, so that when the time comes, he will be able to fight of the peril. The sage of six paths said. Peril, father. What peril? Is this really that great that he needs your training and power to combat? Asked the Kyuubi. I will explain the peril another day, when Naruto is prepared to hear it. But yes it is that great, unfortunately. Said the sage. Fine. Said Kurama, but could you at least adjust this seal so the kid can use my power easily? No, not now. I want him to focus on his own training and not using your power. I will however make it so you can talk to him whenever you want to. Become friends with him Kurama, give him a chance to destroy the corrupt hatred you have had for so long, my son. With that, the sage Dusan. Him a chance to get rid of my hatred, huh? Alright father, I'll give him that chance. Naruto Uzumaki, let's see you try to change me. The Kyuubi said and he then closed his eyes and entered sleep. Half an hour later. I give up. Naruto, you do realize it's right there, right said Rikido-sennin. Naruto looks around and saw a small little cabin. Even though it should be damaged or decayed, the small wooden cabin looks brand new. Naruto was amazed that the sage could do something like this. It's not the best, but it is the most durable. Also, Naruto, you are now the official apprentice to the Sage of Six Paths. Said Rikido-sennin. What do you began Naruto, but then a surge of chakra went into his eyes and Naruto Uzumaki had gotten the Rinnegan. Using a nearby puddle, he saw his reflection and saw his new metallic purple eyes. Rikido-sensei, thank you, and don't worry, I'll promise to make you proud Dadabeo. Naruto exclaimed. He headed towards the cabin, ready to begin his new training and life with the great Sage of Six Paths. 3 months later. Naruto, keep focusing. Directed out of your palms. Guided the sage, in his physical form, outside of Naruto's body. I know. I'm trying responded the young blonde. Naruto started to focus chakra in his palms. Soon, he had enough energy build up in his hands and screamed, Shinra Tensei. A tree a few yards away, barely moved. UGHHH. It's fine Naruto, you're only a 12-year-old boy. You can't possibly think you can do a full power Shinra Tensei, can you? Asked the sage. Well I still have to keep on trying, don't I, Rikido-sensei? Responded Naruto. That you do Naruto, that you do. Said Rikido-sennin. I suggest you retire for today, Naruto. What? But it's not even dark yet. Retorted Naruto. Please, Naruto, listen to me. Rikido-sennin said, almost pleading. Naruto, detecting this, complied and headed into the cabin. Inside the cabin. Man, why did Rikido-sensei make me come inside? Naruto wondered. I dunno kid, but since we're inside, why don't you come into the mindscape for some training? Said Kurama. Yeah, okay. Responded Naruto. Naruto sat down, cross-legged and focused. Soon, he opened his eyes and saw himself in a grassy field with the Kyuubi napping. You're so lucky I let Rikido-sensei change the seal so we could sew this kinda stuff and you wouldn't have to be in a cage anymore. I still want my payment for that, Kurama. Naruto said with a smirk. The Kyuubi opened his eyes at this, payment I pay you with my infinite power, you insect. Kurama roared. Ha 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 ha. That never gets old. exclaimed Naruto, wiping ears from his eyes. Annoying kid. Muttered the Kyuubi. Oh, lighten up, Kurama. It's funny. Anyways, you think I can use the four-tailed state by now? Asked Naruto, his demeanor suddenly serious. No, not yet. I suggest you still focus on your three-tailed state training and continue integrating your moves into it, said Kurama. Alright, let's go. Naruto shouted. Soon, his body took on a red cloak and three tails appeared behind him. Let's start with wind release. Great breakthrough, Naruto said. A air blast soon comes from Naruto's hands. Oh come on, don't use wimpy normal ninjutsu, you could do that later, just three-tailed state boosted ninjutsu, got it? Said Kurama. Yeah, I got it. In that case, three-tailed state. Wind release. Demon great breakthrough, Naruto shouted. His tails pointed forward and shot three air blasts a bit more powerful than the one Naruto shot from his hand. Well, that works pretty well, maybe I should try the new Rasengan I made for this form. New Rasengan? What does he mean, new? How come I haven't seen this before? I wonder what the kid had in mind. Kurama wondered. Alright, time to introduce the all-new super awesome three-tailed state. Demon Rasengan, Naruto shouted. Three red Rasengans appeared, each one coming from Naruto's tails. Soon, he charged and rammed his tails into a tree. An explosion happened and the tree and a few others behind were destroyed. The Kyuubi was impressed, so, you actually can make Rasengans just from your tails now, huh? So, combine that with the two you can make from your hand and that's 5 Rasengans right there. Actually, I can't. I can only focus making them in one area only, either my hands or tails, but not both. It kinda sucks, but with training I should be able to. Naruto responded. Well then, I guess I know what you're going to be doing for the next few hours. Start your training now. Kurama shouted. Alright, I'll start now. Sheesh, talk about crazy kitsunes, Naruto thought. He made 100 shadow clones and started his training. Outside the cabin. Two men disengaged from a fight. The older of the two smiled while the other one panted heavily. What's wrong? Asked the sage, are you tired already, Itachi Uchiha? Disclaimers. I don't own Naruto or anything related to him. Previously. Two men disengaged from a fight. The older of the two smiled while the other one panted heavily. What's wrong? Asked the sage, are you tired already, Itachi Uchiha? I must admit your skills are very impressive. You surpassed even the Nidaime Hokage's skill in water release. Creating water naturally and then expanding to such lengths, you are truly powerful, for a man in the woods. Do you have a name? Asked the Uchiha. My name is Hagoromo Otsutsuki. Answered the sage. Hagoromo-san, you are truly powerful, but I'm going to ask you one final time, will you give us the Kyuubi Jinchuriki or not? Asked Itachi. You ask me one final time, I'll answer you one final time. Naruto will not be handed over to you, Itachi. Now, I suggest you leave me alone before I kill you accidentally. Said Hagoromo. Accidentally? Very cocky aren't you, Otsutsuki-san? Well then let us see if you can kill me accidentally if you can't even move. Tsukiyomi. Said Itachi. The old man continued to smile. Itachi frowned. Once again, Tsukiyomi, once again nothing. He continued over and over again. Yet, nothing happened. Itachi became unnerved. This man was able to somehow block the world's strongest ninjutsu, had he not been joking. Could this man really kill him accidentally? With Kisame nowhere to be seen, it was probably better that he retreated for now, but first. Whose side are you on? Asked Itachi. Side? I am on no side, but because I have Naruto with me, I suppose I am on Konoha's. Do not worry, Itachi Uchiha of Konoha, I will not harm your true place of allegiance. Said the old man, his smile never once leaving his face. If Itachi was surprised before, he had completely lost it by now. This man obviously knew about the real reasoning behind the Uchiha massacre and he had no reason to harm his home. Could he be able to serve his village as the true shinobi he was if this man helped him to defeat Pain-sama? I give you a week, my young child. If you do not join me by then, either leave or face my true wrath, said Hagoromo. Itachi nodded and he decided to leave, but when he turned around to look at the man one more time before going, he widened his eyes before leaving quickly. The man possessed the Rinnegan, was this how he stopped at Tsukiyomi? Itachi wondered, he decided he would question the man another day. The man smiled. He knew that the young man saw his eyes, hopefully that would show him he was not someone to trifle with. After that, he decided to head inside and rest up. A week later. The young blonde was currently reading himself to be attacked by a giant fireball once again. Ready? Naruto said. High release. Fireball jutsu. Said the sage. The fireball headed towards Naruto, he activated his Rinnegan and put his hands out and said pre-top path, focusing his chakra to make it absorb the fireball. When the fireball made contact with his hand, it slowly was getting absorbed and after a full minute, it was completely gone. "Good job, Naruto," exclaimed the sage, "you finally were able to completely absorb the attack this time. Why don't we leave a few clones and we get something to drink?" "Sure, Dadabeo." But first Naruto threw a kunai at a bush and a man jumped out before it could hit it. "You," Naruto yelled, "you Sasuke team's brother." "Hello Naruto." Itachi greeted, "Hagoromo-san, I thought about it and I would like to join you and help Naruto with his training if you will let me." The man smiled, "Welcome Itachi-Uchiha. Naruto, meet your new sensei." Naruto widened his eyes. The S-ranked missing nin of Konoha was going to become his new sensei. After careful thought about it, he had one thing to say. "You," Naruto began before Itachi interrupted, "Yes, Naruto, I like ramen." He already knew about Naruto's godly praise towards the food and was prepared for the question. Naruto smiled, then frowned, "Was it really that obvious?" he asked. Both of his teachers smiled and went into the cabin. "Rikido-sensei. Itachi-sensei. Hey, come back here, you didn't answer my question." He then ran inside to join the other two. 3 years later. The 15-year-old blonde boy left the cabin that he had called home for 3 years. Today was a very important day for him. It was the day him and the man he considered older brother, Itachi Uchiha, to return to their original home, Konoha. "Well, Naruto Itato, ready to go back?" Itachi asked. "Yeah, let's go but I want to take the long way, I don't think I want to go back too quickly." Naruto responded. Itachi nodded, he knew how Naruto felt. Even though it was small, the cabin was the best home he ever had, living with Naruto, and the sage was the best, and helping out the future sage of 6 paths was an honor to have. Now he had to leave it behind, he could still train Naruto and everything, but it wouldn't be the same anymore. So, with one last check of their supplies and the sage joining them, they headed out, walking on the forest road Naruto woke up on 3 years ago. The Konoha. Many of Naruto's old friends all got a chill, and suddenly one thought ran through their head, Naruto. A busty blonde sitting on a chair got an even worse chill, visible shuddering at it. Her apprentice commented on it, "Tsunade-sama, what's wrong?" asked Shizune. "Why did I get the feeling that in a week, Naruto is going to come into my office and completely blow me away?" The goddamn Hokage responded to her apprentice. "So it wasn't just me?" Shizune said. Tsunade widened her eyes and immediately called for her 2 other apprentices, Ino and Sakura. "Yes, Tsunade-sama?" they asked. "Did you two get the feeling?" Tsunade began. "That a certain blonde friend of ours is going to be at the gates of Konoha in about a week," Ino said with a smirk. "Shizune?" Tsunade said. Shizune sighed and pulled out a sake bottle. Sakura and Ino just sighed but were thinking about this mutual feeling. "So, Naruto might end up coming back to Konoha, but I thought Sasuke-kun killed him, right?" "Well, it sure will be interesting to see him," Sakura thought. "I can't believe it. Naruto is really going to come back." Obviously, Forehead and Shizune got the feeling too. "I wonder how he is alive, I thought Sasuke killed him. Maybe he's been training to bring him back, well whatever. I just want to see him again, maybe he has grown into a really hot guy and I could get with him." Ha. Yeah right, as if Naruto could possibly be hot, Ino thought. She didn't realize how wrong she was about to be proved in a week's time. A week later. 3 men could be seen walking to the gate of Konoha. Izumo and Katetsu, the 2 gate shinobi of Konoha saw them and almost fainted. The middle of the 3 was the closest thing to Minato Namikaze the pair had ever seen, and they only knew one person to ever even achieve that look naturally. It was for that reason only that they didn't call them over for passport checking, they decided to let the Hokage deal with this, after all, then they didn't have to deal with any paperwork, for now. Naruto smirked, "Well it appears the ghost of Minato Namikaze has shocked them, good that saves us, mainly me, from explaining anything, until we reach Granny's office." The other 2 nodded their heads at this, no reason to have to explain things twice, right? As they strolled along the streets, Itachi saw many Anbu stare in shock at the trio. "Looks like the ghost of the 4th didn't just shock those 2, said Itachi, and seeing Naruto's confusion moved his eyes around to show Naruto what he meant. Naruto getting the signal looked around subtly and was amazed at the sight, smirking just like his brother and continuing to the Hokage office. All the while, the sage was admiring the village, looking around as he walked. This was the home that both Naruto and Itachi would protect with all their life. He smiled at the thought, knowing about how the 2 were viewed. Their loyalty is unwavering. "Alright, my 2 students, if you are willing to protect this village, then I will too," Rikido-senin thought. Hokage's office. "Oh crap, today's the day, he's supposedly gonna return," Tsunade thought, "no. It was a joke that my mind played on me and everyone, a mere coincidence, he isn't coming back, he isn't coming back, he isn't coming back, he isn't coming." The door opened and 3 figures appeared. "Naruto?" Tsunade yelled. All three figures' sweat dropped and the blonde of the group said, Tsunade-sama, it's me, Ino, Sakura, and Shizune. Tsunade actually looked at them and realized they were indeed said people. She sat down, rubbed her forehead, and sighed, sorry you three, I'm just jumpy since she never finished her sentence as she promptly fainted. Tsunade-sama. What just happened? The three apprentices of the Godame asked. An answer came from behind, I believe that would be my fault. It said. They slowly turned around and widened their eyes. The voice came from what appeared to be a shorter Minato Namikaze, the infamous S-rank missing Ninichiha, and some old man. Shizune followed her mentor and fainted as well. Sakura and Ino getting very similar thoughts before fainting as well, too hot. Is making the Hokage and Shinobi of Konoha faint a crime here, Itachi Nyasen? Naruto asked. Not during my time, why don't you ask the Anbu that didn't become missing Nin? Itachi replied. Naruto nodded, stepped into her office, and looked up at the ceiling and repeated his question, is it illegal to make the Hokage and her shinobi faint? His answer. 5 more people fainting. Elsewhere, a certain Hyuga heir was being checked to see if she had a cold after sneezing so much. Well then, I suppose we wait. The sage said, finally speaking after entering Konoha. The other two nodded and waited for their fellows to wake up. Half an hour later. Everyone had woken up. The Anbu left to go relax, and that left the Hokage, her apprentices, and her 3 intruders. Naruto explained everything fully to the Hokage, with help from his 2 teachers, and he made sure to leave nothing out. I'm not explaining everything cause let's face it, do I really need to? I don't think so, just read the first 3 chapters over again if you need to. After what seemed to be about an hour or so, he was done. The Hokage side pulled out a sake bottle and began drinking like there was no tomorrow. Ino, Sakura, why don't you two get Naruto and the others a little tour, just a little refreshing for him and Itachi, and show Hagoromo the village? Said Shizune. Sure, and maybe afterwards, I could spend some quality Naruto time by myself. Ino said, with a rather seductive smile that everyone picked up on. Sakura was almost disgusted by her fellow apprentice, Itachi and Hagoromo, both smirking and looking at the 2 blondes involved, and Naruto, well Naruto was Naruto. Sure Ino-san, we could get some ramen together, it's been a while since I've been to the Ichiraku's. It'll be a date if you don't mind. Naruto said. Ino blinked. She didn't even do anything to him except smile, and she already scored a date with him. Oh, this was gonna be too easy. Chapter 5. Naruto and the rest of them leave the Hokage's office. Itachi decides to go off on his own. Sakura decided to give the full tour to the sage which left only Naruto and Ino. Ino couldn't be happier with how things played out. Well Naruto-kun guess we don't even have to wait for our date, now do we? Ino said have a smile that slightly disturbed Naruto. Hehehe I suppose we don't. So Ino, we are going to Ichiraku's aren't we? Asked Naruto. Of course we are, and then we can go to my house and relax there a bit. Said Ino, hoping Naruto would fall for the trap. Sorry Ino, but I think I should probably go over to my place, you know, since it is my house after all. Naruto said, quite aware of the trap. He mentally smiled at his excuse, but frowned when he saw Ino's smile just grow bigger. Naruto, you realized you were labeled Kia for 3 years, don't you think it wouldn't be your house anymore? Ino said. Naruto's eyes widened. His house he had lost his very first house. Ino seeing Naruto's sadness, decided she should elaborate, well Naruto, I suppose you're lucky that the new owner of your apartment is such an amazing and quite beautiful woman who would be more than willing to let you stay for free. Really, when can I meet her? Naruto asked excitedly. Ino's face vaulted at that. She had forgotten how oblivious Naruto was with girls. I'm talking about me, Dumbus. Ino yelled, I'll let you stay with me since it was your old apartment. Naruto was shocked. He would be sharing an apartment with Ino. Well, maybe it could work. Oh okay, so after our date, let's go home, Ino-chan. Naruto said. Ino smiled at the way Naruto had said her name and holding his hand, the new roommates headed towards the best ramen shop ever. But Sakura and Hagoromo. So, Hagoromo-sama, how do you like the village? Sakura asked. This is the product of my descendants joining together, is it? Well I must say they did a fine job. And of course that something great-granddaughter of mine is doing a fine job of leading the village. The sage said. Yes, Tsunade-sama is a very strong shinobi and is recognized as the world's greatest medic and strongest known kunoichi. Sakura said with pride. Her mentor was in her opinion one of the best people to train under in the entire world. Yes, I suppose she's okay. Nowhere near her grandfather's level nor mine obviously, but good enough I guess. The sage said dismissively. Sakura glared at the man. He dared to say that in front of her. She didn't care if this guy was the originator of all shinobi, she was about to kick his ass. Shush okay. I'll show you what that okay person has taught me. Sakura yelled and tried to punch Hagoromo. Emphasis on tried. Before the fist contacted him, something held her back. She turned around and saw him holding her back, but he was in front of her as well. A shadow clone. Sakura thought, but he didn't even make hand seals. I would hope not to make this a regular occurrence. You forget yourself, young Sakura. I have no true allegiance to any village, so if something bad were to happen to you and it was pinpointed on me, I could easily go to another village and soon enough a war would start. Would you want that on your conscience? Asked Hagoromo. Well sorry Hagoromo-sama. Mumbled Sakura, her entire face red. It's fine, now why don't we head to the ramen shop Naruto praises so much, I haven't had any food in a while. Said the sage. Sakura merely nodded, still embarrassed and too ashamed to speak to him. Ichiraku's ramen shop. Another bowl please. The old ramen make Tucci cried at his young blonde friend, his business going down the drain. Tucci offered him a full-on-the-house meal, his daughter, Am, tried warning him, but he didn't listen. So naturally, Naruto plus access to free unlimited ramen meant one man losing a month's worth of profit. It's okay, you can always make him pay, he wouldn't refuse to pay you, even if you said it's free. Am said. The old man chuckled and shook his head, no, Am, Naruto deserves this, no matter how much money we lose. It's great to see his love for ramen, my ramen, is still strong. Naruto, hearing this, stopped eating. He finished his bowl quickly and told Ino to pay for the meal. What? We got it for free, plus it's the man's job to pay for both. Ino said. I know that, so here. Naruto said, giving her a bunch of cash. Pay for it now. I can't do this to them. I ate way too much, it shouldn't be free. But the old man wouldn't take it from me, so give me the money and I pay for it, after all, I never got it for free. Ino said with a smile. It was nice to see her Naruto be so kind to them even though he shouldn't be. Hey Tucci-san, here's payment. Ino said, putting down her money on the counter. What? I said it's free, remember? He replied. No, not for me, just for Naruto-kun. Who said he was paying anyways? Ino said with a smirk. Well Naruto, you're actually letting your girlfriend pay for all this? Tucci said in disbelief. Yeah, I suppose I am. Naruto replied with a wink. He and Ino leave with no room for any more words. Tucci was still standing there, shocked. Am smirked, she couldn't believe Naruto found a loophole, thank God her father hadn't thought of it. He soon collected the money, oh well, the boy had a point, so better leave all the money lying there right. As the two friends were walking out of the shop, they noticed Rikyu-sennin and Sakura walking towards them. Hey sensei, Sakura. What are you two doing here? Naruto asked them. Oh we were here to get some ramen. After all, this is your place of ultimate godly ramen for the true supreme of elites if I remember correctly. The sage said with a smile. Naruto sheepishly chuckled. He had said that 2 years ago. Well I don't think you going to get a chance to eat today. Someone decided to clear him out Ino said playfully glaring at Naruto while he was whistling and looking around, making sure to avoid eye contact with her. Oh well, I suppose we shall continue with our tour then, young one. The sage said. Sakura nodded, then turned towards her best friend, what are you two going to do now? Oh, well remember how I bought Naruto's old apartment? Ino said and Sakura nodded. Well, being the awesome person I am, I decided to let Naruto stay with me. So we're going to go home and get Naruto well familiarized with it. Ino said, with a small smirk that only the sage caught. Ino grabs Naruto's arm and they walked off together. My, Naruto you're growing up so fast, or rather you going to grow up pretty quickly. I hope you enjoy the godly transition of boy to man Naruto. Hagoromo thought. Elsewhere, a certain old man sneezed and unfortunately fell into a hot spring for women only. The poor man was cursing whatever illness had struck him. Naruto's and Ino house, let's just say the Narino house. Well this is home sweet home, Naruto. Ino said. Naruto looked around and he was slightly surprised. His old dumpy apartment was very nicely cleaned up and very purple. Should he have been surprised? The girl loved the color. Naruto headed for his room, well old room. Ino followed him, hoping he wasn't disgusted by the apartment, saying how he wasn't really showing a reaction visibly and it's not like she could read his mind, well subtlety anyway. When Naruto entered the room, he was shocked, the room was his. It hadn't changed one bit, everything about it was the same and it didn't even look like it was used. He raised his eyebrow at Ino who knew what he was thinking. Sakura and Tsunade told me that to honor your memory, I should leave this place alone, so I sleep in the living room. Ino said. That explains why there was a bed in there, Naruto thought. Ino continued, but I do clean it now and then, just so it doesn't get too dusty, and I come in here time to pay tribute to you or just think. Naruto nodded and silently thanked her for doing so. Naruto put his bag down and sat on his bed. Ino, unsure of what to do, decided to sit down, right next to him. She had no idea what he was thinking, it was kind of infuriating. Yamanaka's had this innate ability to be able to read people easily, but Naruto, Ino was so unsure she almost questioned she even had the ability anymore. He was just unreadable. Was this the result of training or was he always like this? Ino was about to lose it from the silence when she heard a voice, one she had never heard before. A clueless Yamanaka. The irony of it all. You mind-reading fools can't even figure out the brat. Ha 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 ha. Oh wait, you're listening in on me aren't you? Well stop, it's annoying. Actually, maybe I could use you. That is of course if you can figure out what I am. The voice said. Ino widened her eyes. She was already unsteady due to her inability of reading Naruto and now a demonic voice in her head. She couldn't handle it, she fainted. This made one very frantic Naruto and a laughing demon Kitsune. Why the hell are you laughing when Ino-chan fainted? What did you do Kurama? Naruto yelled at his tenant. What? All I did was tease her for a bit, then ask her a question. Is that so wrong? Kurama asked. Yes. You're S-rank secret remember? What happens if she tells someone? Naruto scolded. Relax kid, she doesn't know it's me. That's what I asked her. Who am I? Kurama said. You're the world's most evilest thing created, that's what. Naruto answered and he cut the connection off. Naruto lifted Ino up onto his bed and he decided to lay down himself. He was tired for some odd reason and really needed sleep. When he closed his eyes, a land far away rumbled. This place was abandoned but too certain being herded. Hagoromo and Kurama both herded. What the hell was that? Kurama said. It was so far away, yet it felt like he was right on that land. Hagoromo, on the other hand, frowned at the circumstances. So Naruto must return home even quicker than predicted, this isn't good, he thought. The next day. Ino woke up the next day, instantly alarmed. She could tell from the feel of the bed that it wasn't hers. She looked to her right. A person, a boy. She became even more alarmed. Did this guy she checked under her covers to see she was fully clothed. She sighed and then proceeded to kick this guy out of the bed. Who the hell dares to even think they can sleep in the same bed as me? Ino yelled. Her victim opened his eyes and yelled in pain. What the heck, Ino-chan he said. Ino looked closely at her victim. She realized that was just her Naruto. The Naruto she kicked out of bed. Holy crap. Naruto. I'm so sorry, I thought you were some other guy. Please forgive me. Ino said extremely sad and fearful. She slept in the same bed as him and he wakes up because he gets kicked out of bed. He might not want to stay with her after this. She was about to be brought to tears from that thought. Naruto seeing this, became alarmed and decided to respond to her before anything happened. No problem Ino-chan, I get it. No woman is going to react calmly when they find out some guy they don't know is sleeping in the same bed as them. Even though, you do know me. Naruto half laughed. Ino laughed as well, he was mad at her, in fact, he didn't even care. She and Naruto were laughing it up so much that they didn't realize a scroll had been sent to them. Only after a few minutes when they finally calmed down did Ino realize it. Naruto, that's a messenger scroll. She pointed out to a scroll on the windowsill. Naruto opened it. He quickly grabbed Ino and he shoeshined them to the Hokage's office. The scroll left open read. Emergency. Come quickly to my office Tsunade. The two shoeshined into the office at the same time, the sage, Sakura and Kakashi came in as well. Naruto eyed Kakashi for a bit and vice versa, but they stopped when Tsunade started to speak. No need for introductions or reintroductions, do it on the field. You all have an extremely important mission, requested by Hagoromo-sama. Tsunade said and he nodded, you will be going to the ruins of an old village, once allied to Konoha. Brat, you're going to your ancestral home, Yuzushiogakure. Yuzushiogakure? I don't think I've heard of that place. Naruto stated. Of course you haven't brat, so I'll tell you this before you were born and your mother came here, she lived in Yuzushio when she was young. When she was 8 years old, she was sent here to become the new Jinchuriki for the Kyuubi. Around the time when the Third Shinobi World War began, Iwa and Kumo decided to take Yuzushio out of the picture. They launched a huge assault and due to the war, we couldn't help them. Yuzushio was a ninja village, but against two great nations. It was a massacre, and now, because of that, you might be the only known Uzumaki left. Tsunade said. Oh Naruto sighed, wait, Rikido-sensei, why did you request that we go there? Let us head out and I will explain on the way there. He replied. The ninja headed toward the land of waves to go to the ship port there. Half an hour later. Why don't we take a little break and actually take some time to one another before heading out? Kakashi said. Fine, Hagoromo-sama can also explain what is going on as well. A voice said. Kakashi and the others turned their head towards a bush to see a figure come out of it. Naruto and Hagoromo smirked, there was only one person that it could be. Itachi-san, does Tsunade know you're here or no? Asked the sage. She does, Rikido-senin, I was given permission right after you left. I'm rather surprised that you nor Naruto was able to find me. Just 'cause I didn't say anything doesn't mean I could find you, Nai-san. Better luck next time. Naruto said. Hagoromo raised his eyebrows. Naruto had been able to detect Itachi, but he hadn't. Was Naruto possibly a censor type? Anyways, just who are you, Hagoromo-san? Asked Kakashi. I am the sage of 6 paths, he answered. Kakashi laughed, but soon stopped when he realized he was the only one laughing. He noticed Naruto's and Hagoromo's slightly pissed off face and everyone else's straight ones. You're not kidding? Kakashi asked. Hagoromo shook his head and once again began the story of what happened, leaving a few key parts out. Something that didn't go unnoticed by the rest, but unfortunately, Sakura decided to voice this. Hagoromo, what about the Kai? She began, but Naruto quickly appeared behind and knocked her out, making Kakashi sweat a little. How is he so fast? And why did he do that? Naruto, why did you just knock out your teammate? Kakashi asked. She was about to reveal something that you don't need to know just yet, maybe in due time, but not now. Naruto responded, now with that over, Sensei, why are we going to Uzushio? There is something I need to show you there. The others are here because they might need to know this to prepare for the possible future, and you original sensei is here to be a part of whatever is going to happen from this day forward. The sage responded. Does this have to do with the peril that Kurama mentioned? Naruto asked. Hagoromo stared at Naruto, and Naruto, unsure of what he said, just looked down and pretended as if he didn't say anything. Sakura woke up slowly and the question was soon forgotten and they headed out. 2 hours later. Naruto and the others finally reached the only known port to take people to Uzushio, or so they thought. Excuse me sir, but I was wondering if me and my allies could get a ride to the ruins of Uzushio. Kakashi asked the sailor. Nope, not happening. I used to do that. But once I saw how people treated it, I told myself I would never do it unless they were in Uzumaki. The sailor said. Naruto stepped forward, good thing I am in Uzumaki. The sailor just laughed. Everyone knows that in Uzumaki has red hair, the only known Uzumaki who doesn't is the hero of Wave. Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto said, smirking. Soon, the sailor realized why he was smirking. The Naruto was in front of him. Oh man, I couldn't even recognize my own village's hero, forgive me. I will be honored to give you and your friends a ride to your old home, and I know I don't need to tell you this, but please don't harm the ruins. The sailor said. Naruto nodded and he, the sailor, and everyone else got onto the boat. Unbeknownst to them, a snake soon disappeared in a puff of smoke. Orochimaru's secret hideout. So Naruto is back, how interesting. I thought he was dead, but then again, a brat like him doesn't die so easily. In the ruins of Uzushio. Wow. Everyone was amazed at how Uzushio looked like. One would think that the ruins of a village would be broken and destroyed, but the buildings looked nearly in perfect condition. The sailor was looking around in shock. Hey, old man, what's up? You have been here before haven't you? Naruto asked. This can't be the ruins. The village was in shambles when I last saw it. How can it look so lively? It has only been 20 years since I was last here. The sailor said. This got the group's attention. The ruins of a village now looking like a near-perfect village only missing people. It was rather suspicious. Well, I'm spooked, sorry kid, hero or not, I'm gone. And with that, the sailor abruptly leaves the crew. Everyone looked around at this village. It was merely a few buildings and a shipping dock, but from there, they could see that the actual village was as new and modern as the few buildings they were near. Hagoromo noticed something. There were 4 chakra signatures, and they had already detected their presence. But, something in his gut told him not to tell the others. He knew that they were not in any immediate danger. Well, let's figure out what's going on with my home, shall we? Naruto said immediately, walking ahead of everyone. They all had raised their eyebrows at the fact that he said my home, but they disregarded it and followed their knuckle-headed blonde. In the village center. Dusan, how will we deal with these intruders? I thought that stupid wave sailor was done bringing travelers here. A young 13-year-old Reed said to his father, a middle-aged man with a darker shade of red for his hair color. Relax, we will talk to them and see if we can solve this peacefully. If it doesn't happen that way, you and your sister have my permission to do what you must. The man responded to his son, who along with his twin sister, were grinning at that. And what exactly will they do if this confrontation ends up not ending so well for you? A voice came from the trees above the redhead family. The mother and father of the group instinctively threw a kunai into the exact point of where the voice came from. They had gotten their target, or so they thought. The body fell out of the trees, halfway down, it dispersed as a group of crows and reformed nearby as a man feared by many, Itachi Ichiha. The father started to sweat, why you're here why? What do you need from our birth? Intruders. The family and Itachi turned to the right to see a miniature demon chakra fox with 5 tails, charging at the redheads. Naruto wait. The silver-haired Jonin yelled. The sage flashed to Naruto and karate chopped him down. This made Naruto instantly lose his concentration and lose the cloak. Kakashi, Sakura and Ino was amazed, but Kakashi far more. Was that the Hirishin? I didn't see a flash though. Kakashi thought. Well then, that's over. Nice to meet you by the way, I'm Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the Shadame Rikido Sennin. This one here is my student, Naruto Uzumaki, the soon-to-be Nidame Rikido Sennin. Hagoromo said, making sure that Naruto's name was emphasized enough. Luckily for him, they didn't even question what he had said before Naruto's name and decided to stare at the blonde while he recuperated from the blow. Once he was fine, they decided to actually question Hagoromo's statement. Uzumaki? All Uzumakas have the boy of the group said, until everyone decided to finish for him. Have red hair, we know. They said. The boy continued, then you can understand why it's a bit hard to believe that he is in Uzumaki, unless it's dyed. No, it's natural, but I get it from my father. I am in Uzumaki, clan-wise, even thought my true name is Naruto Namikaze because of my dad, Minato Namikaze, but I don't think I'll use that anytime soon. Naruto said with a smile. Kakashi and Sakura widened their eyes. Ino, being a Yamanaka heir, had access to certain information when she became a chunin, and since she was a medic nin, she could go through the birth records of anyone she wanted to and saw Naruto's birth certificate, so she wasn't shocked one bit. The Yamanaka clan was Minato Namikaze's biggest supporter during his time, so even though most medic nin weren't allowed to see the unabridged birth records of most citizens, the ones that Yamanakas could see all of them, Minato's way of thanks to them for their support. But Kakashi and Sakura were not Yamanakas and they had a right to be shocked. Kakashi not only was shocked but soon began to internally beat himself up. His sensei's son was his student and he taught the boy's supposed killer the very technique that killed him. How could he ever forgive himself or go to pay his respects without feeling all of this guilt? Naruto saw this and decided he would talk to his sensei later. Sakura, on the other hand, was just plain shocked, the baka that knocked her out a few hours ago, the baka she used to beat up years ago, that baka was the son of the fourth Hokage. She couldn't believe it. No way, he might have been hot and from the Uzumaki clan, but other than that he wasn't special. Even if he was trained by the sage of six paths, Sasuke-kun was still better than him, she was still better than him. When they got home, she would prove her point. I love shocking people in the afternoon, but Ino-chan, you look rather unsurprised, how? Naruto asked. I'll tell you later, Naruto-kun. She responded, unsure how Sakura would react when she found out that her technical inferior had access to more medical files than she did. The red-headed family didn't know how to react. They weren't from Konoha, but they still knew of the Yellow Flash Hokage. This kid was his son, and he was in Uzumaki, was that possible, or were they being played? The young lady of the group decided she would be the one to ask the questions. Tell me Naruto, what is your mother's name? I should know her, I was the clan archivist back in the day. She said. Alright, her name was Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto answered. This made the lady widen her eyes even more. The Kushina Uzumaki had a son, the Red Death, who even had legendary swordsmith name a sword after her. Holy crap, this boy could become an extreme threat to his enemies in his future. Kushina? She must not be important if I don't know her. After all, I am the son of the Hachidame Uzukage. The young boy said with an air of pridan. Remind you of anyone? Naruto glared at him and his mother slapped him, much to the shock of everyone else. You fool. Kushina was the Nanidame's only daughter. And unlike your father, the Nanidame was an official Uzukage, not a self-proclaimed one. No offense dear. She said with a look of apology towards her husband. None taken dear, you are right. I am honored to be in your presence, Naruto Uzumaki. He said and bowed. His wife and daughter followed suit. His son grudgingly did the same. Thanks, but if I am correct, it is I who should be bowing to you, Lord 8. And Naruto along with everyone bowed to the Hachidame and his family. Welcome along everyone and welcome to the Trio Uchiha. And with that said, a seal appeared for a bit and then disappeared and with that, they saw they were in the same place, but it being full of people, mostly redheads. The Jinjutsu seal, a strong one at that. Even I couldn't see through it. Amazing, the Uzumakas are truly amazing. Itachi thought. Well, why don't we head my office and I'll explain what's going on. The Hachidame Uzukage said. Everyone walked to the Uzukage office and while they did so, they were able to get introduced correctly. The Hachidame's name was Naraki, with his wife Naomi. Their twin son and daughter were Riko and Oranai. Soon they reached the office and entered the building. As they walked, the guard saluted the Uzukage and the family, but gave slight glares to Naruto and his group. When they entered the actual office, it was a near replica of the Hokage office, but without the stacks of paper. Well, here we are. Now, before I began, it's probably best if I explain the story of how we are back, correct? Naruto and the others nodded. Well, it began around 25 years ago. Many survivors of the Uzumaki clan, including myself and my wife, had managed to make it back here. Now, back then, it was in shambles. So for years, we had been repairing as best as we could and with the use of our powerful seals, so we were functioning normally. Then 20 years ago, a sailor, the one that brought you here, had brought some tourists. We did the same as we did with you, we activated our Genjutsu cover seal. So everything was ruins to them, so they decided to examine the ruins, basically destroying them so that they could closely observe it. They returned to the ship and the sailor soon left with them, but he loudly yelled at them that this would never happen again. The damage went to our buildings, as they were ruins in the eyes of the tourists, and the Genjutsu didn't actually protect it from them. So it took us a while to repair them, but we did eventually. Soon, my kids were born, and I named myself the Hachidame Yuzukage and made sure everything ran smoothly, no trouble ever finding us. Until we came. Kakashi finished. Naruto raised his eyebrow. We are in trouble, right? You aren't, but as you know, you will have to report this to your Hokage, and that is when trouble begins. Naraki said. Naruto shook his head. No, we won't. I refuse to betray my home like that. Once again, his group raised their eyebrows, but Sakura commented on it. Hey Baka, this isn't your home. Konoha is your home, and you have to go back there, tell Lady Tsunade about this, and then bring Sasuke back to me. This caused something unexpected to happen, Kakashi next to her, a kunai to her neck. Say anything like that to him again, and you don't have to worry about finding that traitor Sacha. He said, with a cold voice that frightened Sakura. Thanks, Kakashi-sensei, and like I said, I won't betray this place. I need to find a way to make it so this place isn't invaded or anything like that. I want Uzushio and Konoha to be allies, peacefully. Well, perhaps you could appeal to your Hokage, find a way for her to keep this secret until we decide it's best for us to become allies. Naraki offered. Well, I'll try, hopefully it works. Naruto said. Hagoromo decided that he should intervene at this point. Where is the vault of the Uzukages? He asked. In an instant, the Uzukage and the two Anbu ninjas hiding in the room had a kunai to his neck. Where the hell did you hear about that? Naraki asked in a cold voice. Naomi gave a cold glare towards the sage, but everyone else was confused about what was going on. What the hell is the vault of Uzukages? Hariko asked. The vault containing the records of the past Uzukages and the village itself, along with many other secrets. Usually only Anbu, archivists, and the Uzukage himself know about the place. This man is not any of those three. So he better start talking. Naomi said, the cold glare never leaving. I have my own secrets. Now, I will ask once more, where is the vault? Hagoromo asked, sending killer intent as he asked his question once again. The Anbu in the room were easily scared and even backed away. Naomi's glare turned into a look of fear and Naraki backed away with widened eyes. Yet, the others didn't even feel the killer intent. Follow me. Naomi said, still scared, and the Uzukage along with the Anbu stood by her side and left the room with everyone else behind them. Orochimaru's secret hideout. Sasuke, your job is to go to the ruins of Uzushiogakure, understood? Orochimaru told his student. Uzushiogakure? What the hell is that? And what does it have to do with me gaining power? Sasuke said. Well, the Uzumaki brat is there. Apparently, you did not kill him. So, now you can use your new strength and finally finish the job. Orochimaru said, his smirk getting bigger by the second. He knew Sasuke would be pissed off about finding out that Naruto was alive. Hopefully, Sasuke finally kills him correctly this time. Fine, and with that, Sasuke departed for Uzushio. Kukukuku, I wonder how the little Uzumaki will fare against Sasuke now. And Orochimaru slithered in the shadows. Uzushiogakure. Here we are, the vault of Uzukages. What exactly do you require, Otsutsuki-sama? Naraki said with the utmost respect, hoping not to anger the man in front of him. That is my problem, not yours. You and your men will stand out here while I and my companions enter, understood? And with a nod of the heads from the red-headed Uzumakas, the group entered the vault. Vault of Uzukages. So, Hagoromo-sensei, what are we looking for? Naruto asked. The scroll, with a golden seal, it will stand out from the rest of scrolls. Hagoromo responded. Everyone nodded and they all split up to go search for the scroll. But Naruto had been wandering around for what felt like days, he had no success whatsoever. He had sent out shadow clones to do his work for him, but even they had gotten too bored and he was forced to dispel them. He has continues like this for an hour. Then, he saw something. A scroll, with an aura, but most importantly, a gold seal. Naruto widened his eyes and flared his chakra, a signal for his team. Soon, everyone was at his location. The sage went to the scroll and opened. A flash of white happened, blinding the others. When the flash diminished, the sage was seen with the scroll tucked in his arm, as if nothing happened. Well, let's be on our way everyone. Mission accomplished. And he started walking towards the exit, as did everyone else. Thank for allowing to access your vault, we will try to make sure that no one disturbs your village once we report to the Hokage. He said. It's a bit too late for that, there is a boy looking for Naruto-san near the port, he doesn't seem to know that there are people are here. And Anbu said. Naruto immediately asked, does he have the Sharingan? The Sharingan, those red eyes correct? Yes, I believe so. Do you know him? The Uzukage asked. Naruto merely nodded and headed towards the port, everyone following him. At Uzushio port. Naruto and the others finally got to the port to see Sasuke, Sharingan flaring, staring intently at Naruto. Sasuke-kun, you're back. Sakura screamed. She tried to run to him, but Kakashi held her back. That isn't the Sasuke you once knew, Sakura. Don't even think about going to him, he has no problem disposing of you, got it? Kakashi said sternly, and Sakura nodded, knowing better than to go against her sensei. Naruto approaches Sasuke, surprised, Uchiha. No offense, Itachi. Looking at Itachi, but he merely smiled and shook his head. Sasuke only then just realized that Itachi was there and immediately widened his eyes in shock and anger. You? What are you doing here? Sasuke shouted. I am merely here doing a mission with my fellows, Hagoromo-san and Naruto. Itachi replied. Sasuke had lost all reason and immediately charged Itachi, ready to kill his older brother. Before Sasuke got close enough, Naruto appeared in front of him and pushed him back. He's that fast. That's not possible. Even I'm not that fast. Sasuke thought. Your fight is with me, Sasuke. I still owe you for killing me 3 years ago. Naruto said, and immediately, he charged Sasuke, Rasengan in each hand. Sasuke dodged, barely. Sasuke still could not believe that Naruto was faster than him now. How did he accomplish it? Whatever dope. I lend you, then move on to Itachi. You cannot defeat me, not without that stupid fox's help. This will just end in a repeat performance of what happened last time. Sasuke said, his arm sparking, heading right towards Naruto. However, Naruto smirked, something Sasuke did not catch and would immediately regret. Naruto formed a Rasengan, but soon, 4 little points were coming out of it, making it look like a shuriken in some ways. All Naruto said was, wind beats lightning. And charged Sasuke and clashed. Chidori. Wind release. Rasengan. The two jutsu clashed, but as Naruto said, wind beats lightning and the Chidori lost to the new Rasengan. This blew Sasuke back and Naruto jumped back to his squad. Well, that was easy. What happened, Sasuke? I thought this was supposed to be an encore performance. Naruto said, smiling. Sasuke got up and spat blood. You bastard. I'll show you my true power. And Sasuke closed his eyes and soon, his eyes opened and changed. A black background with a red 6-point star-like design was in place of the original Sharingan. Naruto, Itachi, and Kakashi were shocked. Sasuke unlocked it. The legendary evolution of the Sharingan. But Naruto, he soon became pleased. Naruto hadn't tested out his Rinnegan once since he got back to Konoha, nor his Rinnegan's special powers. This would be the perfect time. Not only would he show Sasuke that he had the true superior Dojutsu, he would show Sasuke that he could match his power in the exact same manner. Surprising, isn't it? I would want to say that I unlocked it differently than you, Itachi, but that would be a lie. Killing you, Naruto, awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan for me. Sasuke said, with the air of pride he had. Naruto laughed. He fell down, cracking up. After what seemed like an eternity to the blonde, he got up and calmed down. I'm sorry. It's just that you think that having the Mangekyo Sharingan makes a difference to me. Nope, not one bit. Unless of course, you have different abilities from your brother, but I doubt that. If not, then this is the bag. Hopefully, you do. It would be nice to see it. Naruto said. Hagoromo smirked, while the others looked in confusion. Hagoromo had kept the secret of the Rinnegan's powers from everyone, even Itachi, as did Naruto. Naruto wanted it to be revealed when the time was right. This is what he meant. What do you mean, dope? Nice to see? Sasuke questioned. At every turn, Naruto was proving more and more surprising and challenging. Now, Sasuke was utterly confused at what this blonde was saying. Naruto closed his eyes, I'll tell you if you show me a new technique. But for now, why don't I show you something new? And with that, Naruto opens his eyes to show the metallic purple eyes that had been the start of it all. Witness the power of the real ultimate Dojutsu. Naruto said and walked towards Sasuke until he was only a few inches away from him. Sasuke's eyes had widened and inside, he was debating whether or not he was having a nightmare of some kind. Almighty push. Naruto said, and Sasuke flew back, almost landing in the ocean, if it wasn't for the fact he had gotten his bearings together and landed on top of the water. What the hell was that? Sakura and Ino yelled. Kakashi was surprised. To hear him have the Rinnegan was one thing, to see it in action was another. That one move made Sasuke fly back that far. It was truly something to be wary of. That is the Rinnegan's diva path at work. Amazing, isn't it? Itachi said. The others could nothing but nod. What the hell did you do to me? Sasuke said, extremely shocked from the one blast. You have lost, Sasuke, there is no way you can beat me. I bet you don't even know how to use the new Sharingan of yours. Naruto said, hoping that he could taunt Sasuke into using his special abilities. Fortunately for Naruto, Sasuke fell for it. Susanoo! Sasuke shouted, and a purple ethereal torso of what seemed to be a gladiator of some sort appeared. Naruto frowned, he already had this copied from Itachi, but he went along with it. He decided he didn't want to waste Kurama's power, and he wanted to use his own Susanoo. Susanoo! Naruto said, and a red ethereal warrior appeared around Naruto. The warrior was extremely similar to a fox-human hybrid due to Kurama being within Naruto. Sasuke once again was shocked. You're not special, team, deal with it. Naruto swung at Sasuke, and with that one hit, the ultimate defense cracked. Sasuke flew back once more, this time knocked out. Well, that ends that. I suppose we take him back home now, right? Naruto asked Kakashi, who nodded. At that moment, a man with an orange spiral mask came out of nowhere. I'm afraid I still need this young Uchiha for my plans, Uzumaki, and soon enough, I'll need you as well. With that, he grabbed Sasuke, but not before both Kakashi and Naruto tried to attack him, but they just went through him, and he disappeared in a swirl similar to his mask. Who was that man? I don't think I've seen him before. Hagoromo asked. That man was Madara Uchiha. Itachi said. Kakashi, Hagoromo, and Naruto widened their eyes. Ino and Sakura were a bit confused at who that was. The only Uchihas that were supposed to be alive was Sasuke and Itachi. Madara Uchiha. The first official leader of my eldest son's clan. Shouldn't he be dead by now? And even if he wasn't, I don't think he would be able to move around so freely like that. Hagoromo questioned. Itachi nodded at that but said, you are correct in all statements, but he did something that only Madara has been able to do. Control the Nine Tails. Who do you think caused the Kyuubi to go on the rampage? Naruto and Kurama widened their eyes at that, but then Kurama seethed and growled to Naruto, he's the one. He's the bastard that did it. Madara Uchiha. How I wished I would never hear that name again. I need to end him. Naruto. You must end him. He's the reason you have no parents. Smash him, rip him to pieces, burn him alive, I don't care, just make sure he dies, painfully. Naruto nodded and responded, alright Kurama, I'll get your revenge, and I'll make sure to avenge my parents. Well, does it matter right now? He has Sasuke, and they both know the location of Uzashigakure. Can't they invade the place? Ino stated. Nah, the Jinjutsu seals should protect the place. If worst comes to worse, I'll protect my home. Naruto said. At this point, no one cared what Naruto was calling it, but Ino did make a mental note of it to ask him about it later. Naruto-san, did you find that boy? Naraki asked as he and his family walked towards the group. Yeah, we did, and don't worry, it's dealt with. He might come back and with someone else, a guy with orange mask, but I'm not sure. Anyways, we'll try to keep this all secret and hopefully we can become allies, Uzukage-sama. Keep this place good and safe, cause I'll be back. Naruto said with a smile and thumbs up towards the Uzukage. Naraki smiled and nodded, and he and his family gave their farewells as the boat had already come back. Hey, sorry about that before. I guess I was just spooked and left. So are you guys ready to go or no? The sailor from before asked. Kakashi gave an eye smile and responded. No, we're done here. You came at a good time. The sailor nodded and they soon headed back to Wave. Naruto and the others had finally made it back to Konoha. The entire boat ride, Naruto was trying to find a way to make it so that Tsunade didn't do anything rash that might reveal Uzashigakare's presence to the rest of the shinobi world. He knew he had to make sure that no one says anything that might make Uzashio seem like a threat. If anyone told her that they had their own shinobi, she might view them as a bad thing, but he couldn't lie to her, so he would have to make sure it was said in a way that they only had them for defense. Meanwhile, the sage had his own thoughts to gather. I can't tell Naruto or Kurama about this ordeal just yet. But if I'm correct, I'll need to meet with him to get the other half. Well, this will take a while, I only hope Naruto will be ready for it. Hagoromo-san, Naruto, I hope you two don't mind, but is it okay if you tell Tsunade what happened? It seems better that way. Kakashi said. The two mentioned nodded and with that Kakashi left everyone. I should probably head to the Konoha hospital, let know if you need anything. See you Naruto, Ino. And Sakura as well left. The others head to the Hokage's office. Hokage's office. Temari and Shikamaru should already be en route but they don't know the situation. Inform them and head for Suna. I'll send Team 7 as backup as soon as they get back from their mission. Naruto and crew enter the office to see Team Guy leaving via Shushin. Hey Bachan, where is Bushy Brows and his team going? They're going to Tsuna brat, and so are you after you tell me what happened during your mission. Also Tsunade raised her arm, stop calling me Bachan. She hit Naruto on the head, causing a very large lump to appear on his head. Oh, that hurt a lot Bachan. Tsunade scowled at that but allowed him to continue, anyways, the mission at Uzushio was a success. But there were some surprises. But before I tell you them, I'm going to have to ask that you get rid of the Anbu. I'm afraid I'm only allowed to tell you what happened. After I do, you can decide who is allowed to know. Alright. Tsunade nodded and the Anbu left the office. Naruto then proceeded to tell her what had happened at the village. When he was finished, Tsunade was shocked. To find out that a village supposedly destroyed was rebuilt and hidden away from the rest of the world. And she wasn't allowed to sign a treaty with them. Unfortunate. In the end, she understood why the Uzukage would act like that and complied. Well, now that this matter is settled, what was that you were saying about us being sent to Tsuna? The sage asked. Well, to put it bluntly, the Kazekage is being attacked by Akatsuki. Tsunade responded. Everyone was astonished, to attack a cage was idiotic and only a few people could match and even less could beat them. So, we have to help this Kazekage guy. Okay, let's go it. Naruto said. He and the others were about to leave and Tsunade was pondering whether to tell him or not but she thought Naruto deserved to know at least. It's Gaara. Naruto immediately paused, turned around and asked with a bit of killer intent leaking, what do you mean it's Gaara? He asked, glaring at the Hokage. Tsunade looked down, regretting telling Naruto now, even years of training hadn't gotten rid of his nature to help his friends. Now, Naruto would be reckless when he headed to Tsuna. But then again, he always did seem to pull through. So she decidedly to elaborate, for better or worse, Gaara is the Kazekage and they are attacking him because he is the Ichibi Jinchuriki. So, I believe this just got a lot more personal correct? Naruto nodded, well Hagoromo thought, Shukaku, my youngest son. How have you changed? Based upon Kurama, you have decided to be very bloodthirsty. Is this how you have dealt with my departure, young one? Well do not worry, your father is coming to save you, son, just hold on. Well, if that's the case then we better hurry, but if it's all the same, I'd rather take a select team with me. Besides me, Hagoromo-sensei and Ino-chan will do. I'm sure Sakura is needed in the hospital and I don't think it's wise that Itachi-sensei goes, who knows how Tsuna will react. Tsunade thought over this and allowed it. Okay, they will go with you, but try to catch up with Team Guy and the others if you can, here's the route they are taking. Alright head out, Naruto, I know I'll regret this, especially since both of your teammates would be better than you, but you're team captain for this. Tsunade said, which prompted Naruto to pout, but nodded and he and his team left via Shushin. The Konoha gates. So, Naruto Taichu, we gonna head out or what? Ino teasingly said. Haha, cute, Ino-chan. Yeah, we are heading out, but I just want to tell you no, Akatsuki is comprised with S-rank shinobi. Even I'm not at that level yet, so if you run into anyone them alone, run away, try to find me or sensei, got it? Ino wanted to protest, but the serious glare Naruto had made her think otherwise, and she nodded. Alright, let's try and catch up with the others. Ino-chan, I'm going to need to carry you. Naruto said with a blush. Ino blushed but then asked, why do you need to carry me, I'm fast. Maybe, but I doubt you're as fast as me or sensei. So, I'll carry you, that way we should be able to catch up with them in no time. Naruto said, and Ino allowed it, so picking up Ino bridal style, both adorning blushes and glares towards the six-path sage for the smirk he was failing at hiding, headed to get to their allies. No time later, 15 minutes. Team Guy, Shikamaru and Temari were heading to Tsuna when out of nowhere, Team Naruto shows up coming in quickly behind them. See told you we would get here quickly, hello everyone, we're to assist, no time for intros, it's me Naruto, and that over there is Hagoromo-sensei, right now, let's save Gaara. And Naruto heads out in a burst of speed, with a screaming Ino, telling him to slow down, and Hagoromo on par if not faster than Naruto's pace. The others, albeit confused, follow their new backup. Sunagakure. The teams from Konoha had finally reached Tsuna, and having gotten an explanation of what was going on from Hagoromo, understood that they were the backup. When they looked upon the great village of sand, they widened their eyes. The village was being assaulted by what appeared to be a white bird, far bigger than normal, and Gaara high in the air, was combating it. Gaara, Naruto thought, I'm here now, I'll stop that bastard that thinks he can get away with attacking you. Come on brat let's hurry up please, and, to be on the safe side, do not use the Rinnegan. We don't know how Akatsuki will react to that. The kitsune said. Kurama, then what do I do? Can I use your power? Naruto asked. Kurama thought it over and gave a growler confirmation, only 5 Kurama said. Naruto nodding, he looked at the bird in the sky and turned to his teammates, I'll help Gaara, you guys help the villagers out. Tamari wanted to say something, but Shikamaru nodded quickly, giving a silencing glare to Tamari, and everyone besides Hagoromo and Ino left. Hagoromo, on the other hand, voiced his opposition to Naruto. "I will fight this man, Naruto." Naruto looked astonished, the man on the bird couldn't have been that much of a threat, could he? Regardless, Naruto wouldn't allow it. "I can't let you do that, sensei, I need to be the one to help Gaara." Hagoromo and Naruto had a staring contest for a while, Ino looking uncomfortably between the two. Then, the sage relented and sighed, "Fine, but be careful. Will you be using his power?" Naruto gave a nod, and with that, Hagoromo gave a look towards Ino, who understood what he wanted, and they left to help the village. But Gaara and Deidara. "Sand kunai barrage." Gaara shouted, sand kunai heading towards Deidara, who dodged most of them, but a few of them got his clay bird. "Ho ho, little Kazukiage got some tricks, too bad I already know about them. You won't surprise me." Deidara yells, throwing a bunch of small clay animal towards the Kazukiage, which are intercepted by red-white chakra blasts from below. The Kazukiage and Iwa missing Nin look down to see a five-tailed dark red chakra cloak being with wide eyes, pointy ears, and a stance similar to a fox. Naruto? Gaara thought. Right now it didn't matter who it was, being it was currently blasting chakra at the Akatsuki member, making him an ally of Gaara. Gaara lifts his new ally into the air and uses his chakra to sync itself with his allies, granting him complete control over the sand cloud. The chakra fox being looks at Gaara, and to surprise of Gaara, its head was receding towards its chest, leaving the head of a blonde-haired, red-slighted eyes he knew very well. "Naruto Uzumaki, how is it that even though you are supposed to be dead, you are here now, helping me fight off this foe?" Gaara asked, and Naruto smiled before his head was covered with chakra once more, telling Gaara the very standard he had lived by for most of his life. "Fight now, questions later." Gaara, nodding in understanding, raised more sand before it placed itself upon Naruto, giving him sand gauntlets and chest armor, adding to the protection and power that Naruto's cloak gave him. "Okay, I have no idea what the fuck is going on over here, but I know I'm screwed if I'm fighting another Jinchuriki, so I guess I'll just have to kill you quickly. Let's go, multi-exploding animals launch." Deidara yelled, sending a clay animal to both Gaara and Naruto, but far bigger in size and quantity. Gaara's sand had sent up its protection and was ready to set up a defense for Naruto when he saw his fellow Jinchuriki give a roar that obviously was chakra-laced as it blew all the animals back towards Deidara, exploding and knocking Deidara off his bird. Naruto and Gaara had headed towards the place where Deidara had landed to see a huge scorpion tail catch Deidara's corpse. Then, another figure of the Akatsuki stepped forward with a body dragging behind him. "Kankuro?" Gaara had shouted, huge killer intent rolling off him. Naruto as well, growled loudly, knowing that they were to use Kankuro as a bargaining chip to get Gaara. True to Naruto's thoughts, the man stated, "Hello Kazukiage. I am Sasori, formerly known as Sasori of the Red. I have your dear brother, Kazukiage. He is poisoned and only had 10 hours of life left. If you wish to retrieve him, you and your Jinchuriki friend must be willingly to surrender yourselves." Gaara widened his eyes, looking at Naruto, and then looking back at the man, who anyone could tell was smirking. "Yes, you both must sacrifice yourself. Makes it hard, doesn't it? I'm sure you would sacrifice yourself in a heartbeat, but will your friend there be the same, I wonder? I give you a map to my base, do not attempt to follow me, I will know." The map flies out his sleeve and lands in front of Gaara, and the man starts walking off, obviously not worrying about time or anything at all, as he isn't trying to leave quickly. Naruto immediately loses the cloak, and the sand armor goes with it. "Gaara, I'll do no. No. But Gaara Naruto, I cannot and will not ask you to sacrifice your life ever, understand? Anyways, something tells me you have a plan to save my brother that will end with no deaths on our side, correct?" Naruto smirked and told Gaara his plan. "I have a shadow clone following him, invisibly, my chakra control is near perfect, no way will he detect it. When he gets to his base, you and I will get into it as well, with my shadow clone substitution. As you can figure out from the name, I can switch to my clone's position, dispersing them and leaving me in their place. I supposedly the only weakness is that I am left their exact state. So if they are damaged, I'll be damaged if I switch. But I doubt my clone will get hurt, so I should be fine. And you're coming with me, as this personal, and I'm sure you have unfinished business with that bomber dude, right? Yes, you are correct. I will finish both of them, you can hurt them as much as you want Naruto, but they are mine, understood?" Speaking with a serious voice, Naruto nodded. Gaara continued, "When will your clone get there?" "Not sure, I don't know where the base is. We'll stick together, and when my clone gets there, I'll sub us over there. For now, let's help you village out." Naruto responded. With a nod from the Kazukiage, the two Jinchuriki head back to the sand village. During this time, Naruto explained the entire situation to Gaara about him and the sage. "Suna. Damn it, Hagoromo-san, could you? Tamari was cut short as a spout of water put out another fire for the umpteenth time. Thank you. Is your chakra diminishing? I have a few soldier pills. No, I'm sure I can keep going. I have quite the chakra capacity, young lady. Hagoromo said in response. Yo, Hagoromo-sensei. We have a problem. Naruto yelled to his sage sensei, who sighed to this, and he and Tamari walked towards Naruto. Naruto, what is your problem? The sage asked his apprentice. That big Akatsuki guy with the hat, he poisoned and took Kankuro. He said if me and Gaara don't surrender to him in 10 hours, Kankuro will die. Naruto had responded. This made Tamari gasp and get angry at the fact that her brother was being used like that. Hagoromo, on the other hand, was angry at the fact that this man would try to threaten his apprentice and his friend. Don't worry, Tamari, Hagoromo-san. Naruto has a plan set up. Gaara said, and Naruto at that point explained the plan to Tamari and Hagoromo. At the end, both of them looked impressed with the plan. But then, Naruto had gotten the signal from his clone. With a look at Gaara, the two disappeared to the base. Akatsuki base, Sasori and Deidara. Have you recovered, Deidara? The last thing I need when two Jinchuriki are coming here is a weakened partner. Sasori asked, looking at the blonde missing nin, who was sitting against the wall of the cave base. Oh, shut up, Sasori. When they come, I'll be ready to blow those two up. 'Cause art is a bang, yeah. Deidara said, causing Sasori to shake his head. Art is meant to be preserved, not just gone in an instant. TCH, whatever. The point is, Sasori was cut short as a cloud of smoke just appeared in front of the Akatsuki, and when the smoke disappeared, the Suna and Konoha Jinchuriki were both standing there. Sasori had widened his eyes. How was the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki alive, and how had the two gotten in here? He wasn't aware that any of them knew any kind of jutsu that would allow them to merely teleport into the base, also the base has seals, how had they bypassed all of that? You look surprised, Sasori. What, never seen a substitution before? Well, I guess you haven't seen one with an invisible shadow clone, right? Naruto said, a smirk on his face. Sasori was plain astonished, he had never heard of anyone doing something like that. Sasori did not dwell on it long enough as a 3-sand kunai was coming his way. Using his tail, he blocked that kunai. I will end you, Akatsuki, for stealing my brother. As Gaara was about to attack once more, Naruto held a hand out to stop him. You said I could hurt them as much as I wanted, as long as you got to end them. So wait your turn, pal. Naruto said, causing Gaara to fall back and see what exactly Naruto had planned. Alright then, Sasori. You gonna come out of that puppet thingy, or am I gonna have to make you, 'cause believe I don't really mind. Naruto said, making Sasori widen his eyes once more before jumping out of his puppet exoskeleton, showing of his body which looked very similar to the puppet. Sheesh, talk about dedication. Well, whatever. No puppet can defeat me. Naruto said. Sasori merely kept an impassive look. I will show you the power I have made sure my body is perfect. Nothing will stop me. And he charged to attack Naruto, but Naruto had made 3 shadow clones without warning, and they charged forward as well, with the original flowing behind Rasengan in each hand. The first 2 shadow clones were destroyed by the blades that had appeared upon the back of Sasori, but the last one was able to land a good few hits on Sasori, the final one being an uppercut launching him into the air. Sasori had barely recovered from the attack when the real Naruto jumped up and attacked him, Rasengan barrage. Naruto shouted, shoving the 2 spiraling spheres into Sasori's chest and blowing him back to crash against the cave wall, which all but killed him. The entire time Deidara just watched in shock, the blonde brat had just taken down Sasori so easily. This must have been the 5-tailed menace that had caused him to fail before. Deidara quickly launched a barrage of clay birds towards Naruto, hoping to get a few strikes. Before Naruto could even register the attack, Gaara's sand had come in to protect him. Looking back at Gaara with a thankful look and getting a nod in return, Naruto faced Deidara and entered his 2-tailed cloak. Damn it, you're gonna be no fun, you're probably weaker than Sasori over there. Well, at least I can use this new attack on you. 2-tailed state. Vermilion Rasengan barrage. Naruto shouted, 4 Rasengans appearing, 1 per hand and tail. Naruto dashed forward and slammed them into Deidara, which much to the dismay of Gaara, had killed him as soon as the Rasengan made contact with Deidara. Damn it, Naruto. I wanted both of them. Ugh, now I just get to end this pitiful puppet. Gaara throws a few of his kunai at the body of Sasori, ending him instantly. God, this entire thing was so unsatisfying. Hope you're happy, Naruto. Oh, shut up, Gaara, I didn't think they were that weak. S-ranked, my ass. Come on, let's get your brother out of here. I'm sure Ino-chan and your medics should be able to get a cure for Kankuro. Naruto said. Gaara nodded, and using the sand to pick up his brother, they exited the cave, using sand clouds to quickly travel home. What if Naruto used Sage of 6 Paths in Chunin exams, and thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys next video.